is a good start. We've got, it's only 2 minutes past, so we'll just wait a couple more minutes and get going. So I think we had, this is our second webinar for the CampusLife series, so we've written down our first one. How many did we have in the first one, Pearl? Was it 15 or 12?
We have 12.
12. So I've got 12 people in the program already. We're just looking for a couple more. So we had a few applicants from this time as well. So we will be starting, I think we've got, there you go, a few more people coming in now. I'll get started maybe at 5 past, which is a few more minutes. Maybe people can just introduce themselves while they're here. If you want to come on camera and do that, it'd be great. If not, we can do it in the chat. People are transporting or something. So maybe what we could do is just go into the chat and go, hi, my name is Andrew. I'm from Melbourne and run CampusLife and social staff. Oops. So you can just see the chat pop up. If you want to just put a little message in there, it's in the slides for a bit later, but might as well do it now while we're waiting. Ah, Pearly. Wow. Welcome.
Let me introduce myself.
Yeah, exactly. So Joy, Yo-Yo, Alina, Nathan, if you want to just pop your messages in there, if you can find it. If you're on a phone, you can still find it on the phone. I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere.
Yeah, you can. I think there will be 3 dots on the screen somewhere.
Brizzy. Ah, nice. So it's 3 o'clock there. We've got one staff member in Brisbane. We're thinking about opening an office there for social staff. Well, we've opened an office, but extending that office this year. Also looking to potentially start one in Sydney soon. So if there's anyone from Sydney, there you go. Elena's from Sydney. Yeah, from Melbourne. Excellent. Does anyone go to RMIT, as in university, or went to RMIT and studied marketing? Mine was in like the, when did I go to university there? Oh, it was my degree. Here it is. 2001.
Wow, that was when I was like 2 years old. Crazy.
You were 2 years old and I was studying my undergrad. Life. Hey. Oh yeah, it was from. Did I teach you? Did I teach anyone there? Kind of recognize some names, but it's hard to know. I mean, we have so many students. So yeah, so put in there. If I did teach you, let me know, because I can't see your beautiful faces. So yeah, I also did my. So I did my master's at Swinburne, and then I did my another postgrad MBA at University of Sydney, which had a MBA course from University of Sydney and the University of New South Wales as a combined course called the AGSM, and it's no longer running now, but it was ranked the best MBA in Australia at the time. It was very well run. It was run all around, every state in Australia had a classroom. So if you were traveling for work, you just go in on the same day and they'd teach the same class. It was awesome. So it's a travel.
That's really handy.
Yeah, so I'd go in, there was 2 campuses in Melbourne, and then when I went to Sydney and Brisbane, I'd just go to the whatever office it is and on the same day and with the same curriculum. So that was really handy. So yeah.
Did you study on site or you did it remotely?
No, it was all. Yeah. So Eddie, how are you?
I'm good.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
On the chat, you two, and just give us a bit of an intro.
My name is Eddie Ochieng. I did a Bachelor of Business in Marketing. That was like 2 years back. So,
Whereabouts?
At Kaplan Business School in Adelaide.
Adelaide. Ah, nice.
Yeah, so I've been just trying to see how I can get myself into the market. So
Yes,
yeah,
what we're here for. It's challenging, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, very, very challenging.
Yeah. And thank you. And I've got you as SS, but what's your name?
Sarah Shahata. I graduated from the American University of Sharjah, the United Arab Emirates. Yeah, with a bachelor degree in advertising and mass communication, bachelor degree in mass communication, advertising, and PR. I've worked in big leading company advertising agencies like Ogilvy and TBWA as a graphic designer, account manager. And then I've handled big accounts like Abu Dhabi image account. But then life happened and I had to take care of my family. I had 2 young boys and I had to take care of them. So I only accepted freelance jobs and project-based jobs for the last 10, 12 years. And now we moved to Australia and I decided why not jump back into the marketing and advertising career.
Yeah, cool. And how have you been back? How have you been here for now?
I've been here for a month.
Oh, just back. Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you're handling are you in Melbourne?
No, I'm in Sydney.
Ah, okay. Yeah, wow. It's been tumultuous time and fires and floods and
exactly.
It's not always like this in Australia. It's normally quite stable, but yeah, it's been a bit all over the shop lately. I've just been away, and in fact, when I was in the Philippines, their largest volcano just started erupting. So I was like, oh my god, can't go anywhere. Anyway.
But it's better than the United Arab Emirates. It's really hot. At least here, your summer is rainy and the weather is nice. No humidity.
Yeah, it's the humidity. Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful today, but it's going to be 44 degrees in Melbourne on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, anyway. All right, let's keep going. Thank you. Thanks for introducing yourselves and everybody else joining.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about CampusLife, and I will talk a little bit about Social Star, which is our agency, just for context, and how it all fits together and what we offer here in our internships. So we've just done this, so thank you for that. It's nice to know who we're talking to. It helps us provide context. And you know, when you're at university, I taught during COVID, and it was, you know, I was speaking to blank screens for hours on end. It was very difficult because you're not getting any feedback. You're not, you know, you're missing the personal connection. And that's actually when I started the business, is straight after COVID, because I was teaching these students and they had no hope of meeting other people, particularly international students. They're away from their family, they're stuck in their room, you know, with often not great facilities, and trying to do university, they can't work, can't go outside. And so they didn't meet anybody, didn't meet colleagues, didn't meet teachers, didn't meet, you know, industry professionals. So how are they supposed to get a job, right? So we created this program to help people just like that to get their first step in their career, or re-enter the career, whatever that may be. And so that's sort of the background about CampusLife, how we started the business. Now, there was 3 things that when we started it, and I started it with a co-lecturer back in the day. She's gone back to work at university, but I kept on with CampusLife because, you know, I'm very passionate about helping students. I've been a teacher for 15 years at different universities. I was just telling you where I studied, but I've also taught at, you know, I started teaching at Swinburne, then I taught at Monash, then I taught at RMIT, which I'm still teaching at. I've also taught at Deakin, Melbourne Uni, Sydney Uni, you know, a bunch of different places. And Pearly now teaches at RMIT. So I mentored her, taught her, and then I mentored her after she did her master's at University of Melbourne. And so she's now teaching my course, and I'm going to go off and teach something else next semester. So I'm really passionate about helping students because I realized that, you know, business students are a bit different to other ones. So if you know anything about other student curriculums like accounting, legal, and particularly medicine, like things like nursing, you do placements as part of your, you know, professional development. So they put you into your workplace where you get to meet people, see what that's like. You get to meet and network with people, and, you know, the business curriculums just don't offer that. They used to, and they have a gap year where they, you know, they provide an opportunity, but you pay the university, but you have to go find your own job. So it's really not optimal. I think they should do a lot better, basically. And I'm a teacher there, and I'm quite critical of them. So I decided to do something about that and do it myself. And so we provide a 6 months kind of work placement, if you like, with us to help you gain the experience, build a portfolio so that you can go off and get a job, or you can freelance with us, which is another service that we've just started providing, and I'll talk about that later. So the three pillars that we wanted to achieve at CampusLife was firstly connect to people. So meet other people. And if you're from overseas, you often don't have a big circle of disparate, people to network and liaise with. So you might stick to your cultural group, you might stick to your geographic group. If you're in Adelaide, you probably don't know many people in Melbourne or in Sydney, but there's an opportunity to meet different people. And I kid you not, networking is a vital skill in the development of your career. I've had a pretty successful corporate career, and it was all through networking. People I met, on ski trips, people I met at the gym, people I met at social occasions. That's how I developed my career. I went from selling toner cartridges to being an international marketing manager flying around the world in 8 years because when they sent me on trips, I got to know people, and I was very friendly, and I'm just an outgoing person. And they must have thought I was, reasonable at what I did. And they would give me opportunities because they knew me. But if they don't know you, they can't hire you, right? So this is about getting to know different people and connecting with them. And we offer that opportunity. We offer lots of events and things like that for you to come to and network. And then work. It's all good for people to like you, but they have to know what you're good at. And so you need a portfolio. And most people don't have a portfolio, or it doesn't look great, or they don't have a professional profile, they don't have a good LinkedIn profile. We help you develop that. And through our program, the first learning part you'll do is build your brand, because your personal brand is your most important asset. And it's amazing to me how many people don't invest time, money, or effort into building their brand when it's the only thing that gets them jobs. You can apply on, Seek or online platforms, and you'll be one of 100 or 200 people applying for a job. Very hard to get selected. You might get a job, and that's fine. Most jobs are not that way. Most jobs are you meet people and they hire you. Pearly got this job because she reconnected after many years and said, "Hey, can we have a chat?" And I was like, "Hey, I need someone like you," and offered her a job. I wasn't advertising, wasn't even looking for somebody, but she just popped up at the right time. So, that's how most jobs are secured, particularly in small marketing agencies. And so, but you need something to show them. What can you show them that looks good? And if you can't market yourself, why should I trust you to market, my clients? So that's the second part. The third part is just to have some fun. Now, these networking groups we have like celebrations. They're entertaining. We have good speakers. We have food and drinks. They're a social occasion. There's no reason why we can't enjoy ourselves and network at the same time. I've met amazing people on a lot of social trips, and they've turned into great either business people, they've turned into friends, and often business and personal blurs, when you talk about, professional services. So we deal with a lot of people who work with people. So they're not producing, things, they're selling themselves. So they have to be out there and talking to people. And they're always looking for opportunities, whether they're giving opportunities or you're giving it to them. So they're the three pillars of what Campus Life's all about. And we hope that if you join the program, that you get, a bit of each of those things. Okay, so the vision was really to a place where every student, regardless of your, background, culture, religion, all of those different things, we don't care. We don't discriminate. We've got our company is so diverse for a small business. We're looking for people who work hard, who apply themselves, who have the right values. We'll go through the values in a moment, because everyone deserves an opportunity. So we're here to provide that to you, whereas a lot of people won't give you opportunities because of some of those things, which is a shame. And so our mission, if we think of the long term, is to empower students across all places. So we want to grow the business. We're just in Australia at the moment, we're just helping marketing students. But in the future, we want to help other students and build a platform to do so. But, you got to walk before you can run, and we're just at the beginning stages of that. So got a small team. It's myself and Pearly. Pearly is the main contact person. She runs most of the program. She's better at teaching than I am, I think. I'm a good storyteller, and I've got a lot of experience, but she's just got so much more structure and, explains things in a bit more depth, which is great, which is why, I helped her get into the teaching. And Annie actually came through the CampusLife program, and now she works for us helping build the program with us, and she's a paid employee to do that. So we hire from this talent pool for our companies as a principal. Okay, so we've run a bunch of events in the past. When we first started, we actually just ran a few parties to start the process, and that was basically a way of building our brand and our database, and they were really successful. So students would pay to come along and network. People would say, oh, students won't ever pay, and they did, because they're looking for opportunities. And so we ran 3 events at the start, raise money, build a platform, an app, and then we couldn't make it work, to be honest. And we had to go back and figure out a way to make it financially viable. The students loved it. The students loved it. The companies loved it. It's just that we were funding it. So, and it's a social enterprise. It doesn't make extreme amounts of profit, but it has to be self-funding. Otherwise, I'm spending a lot of money to help the students. We're not getting any support from universities yet. So it's all, basically I pay for all of the resources like the team and the facilities until it becomes self-funding. So it's now starting to become that way, which is great. The more money we make, the more money we reinvest into the program. Okay, so it's for marketing students. If you're currently studying, we can take you. So funnily enough, Annie is going to second year uni, Pearly, is that right? Yeah.
Yes, she's still in the first year though.
Yeah. So she was a standout performer. We don't normally take first year students, but she was so extraordinary we decided to, and proactive. And so, there's exceptions to our general rules, but we want marketing students or someone who has some study in our area of expertise, because we're going to place them with our clients. You can be second or third year, is great, or you could be a recent graduate. That's fine as well. We don't always take students who have been long out and are in industry, and the only reason is that they often don't want to go back to being an unpaid internship, which this is. So but if that's we're not saying we don't, it's just normally it's just not a fit. However, so if you're a recent graduate, we're more than happy to talk to you about it and see your application. We basically, it's all merits based, and the way we actually employ at Social Star is we have a merit based process for doing pay reviews and for promotions. So it's not based on how old you are or how much study you've done. It's all based on your achievements. So can you do the job? And if you can, great. We'd love to talk to you about it. All right, so these are our values that we have. These are the same values at Social Star, and we believe they're really important. So the first one is we need you to be resourceful. So that means figuring stuff out. And that's kind of becoming a lost art with all the help that social media and AI and phones can give you these days, is that people find it difficult to think and solve problems. But I kid you not, that's your biggest asset. If you can do that, you'll stand out amongst everyone else. And this is the area I've found, 15 years of teaching has really reduced. Just as the support has increased from online, people, don't have to think, they can just use a map. They can just ask AI. They can just, but that doesn't solve future problems for businesses. The answers are not on AI because it's a future problem, not a past problem. So resourcefulness is a really big deal, and we want people to dig into that. And that's why we ask you to do several things before we offer you an internship. So when we ask you in the next step to make a video, some people just won't bother. And they go, well, if you can't bother making a video, you don't really want the job. And if you can't make a video, then what are you doing in marketing? If you can't use a phone, turn on the camera, say some words, then really you're going to find it hard to get a job anywhere. The second one is responsibility. And I'm a big believer in life, that everything is within your control and within your responsibility. So that means we don't blame anyone else. It's not the client's problem. It's not the economy. It's not the university. We take responsibility. Even though those things, impact us, we can't do anything about it if it's their problem. By taking responsibility for our part in the process, therefore we can do something about it. So if a client's being difficult and challenging, which they can be, it's not saying, well, I can't do anything because of them. It's like, well, what can I do? What could I do to help them? And it's really amazing how when you take that responsibility and you start being more thoughtful and understanding, that they change their attitude, and often it resolves the whole problem. So we take that seriously as well. The results. Obviously, we're here to get results for our clients and for ourselves. So we have to do the work, and there's no shortcuts. I've read every entrepreneurship book under the sun. and everyone's generally a 15-year overnight success with lots of challenges. I've never read a book about someone who got there without, series of setbacks and, being resourceful and responsible to get the results. So we need to be responsible for those results, whether they're good or bad or otherwise, and respect. So we need to respect ourselves, and respecting ourselves is being honest and doing the work. Respecting our clients, they're paying us money. We need to show up. We need to put our best foot forward, and each other. We're not in competition. We're in collaboration. So it's very important that we hold that true, because we have a zero tolerance for a lack of respect. If you think bad things about things, it comes through in the way you act and relate to others. So we've got to make sure that we have a positive mindset at all times when it comes to work. All right. So now, as I mentioned, we had our previous cohorts, and then we paused for a couple of years, and we're back. And we just finished the first 6-month cohort. They graduated this week while I was on holidays, and Pearly did the graduation. Thank you. So they all got work, which is great. So we place you with our clients, and I'll describe how that works in a minute. And we hired 3 people ourselves. So we're a growing business. As I said, we hire from this talent pool. That's useful for us. We get to know people if we like them, and then we have an opportunity where they could fit, we hire them. And half of them work for Social Star, which is our agency, and the other half work for Bob, which is our coaching program, and I'll describe that in a moment. There's just a nice picture of one of our Bob members and her 2 interns. And I just spoke to Roz, actually, and she was very sad to see them part ways. She got very attached to them. But, it doesn't mean that they can't work with her in the future in some capacity. And so just some testimonials. This is a Nan who's sitting on the couch over there, not listening because he's got his headphones in. And so he had a marketing degree. He's very smart, go-getter, but he just couldn't get that first step. And you might feel that way yourself, is just getting that first step into the marketing industry was very difficult. He volunteered for CampusLife, but also did extra volunteer work for us whenever we needed something. Put his hand up. He essentially just wouldn't leave. He was very proactive. And so when I had an opportunity, I landed a big deal, and I needed someone. I said, "Mate, you up for this? It's going to be a challenging role." And he said, "Yep." And he's a tireless worker to help that client. But he loves it because he knows what it's like not to have the opportunity. And look, to be honest, with AI coming in and big businesses wanting to cut back on a lot of human capital, there's a lot less jobs than there was. When we first started CampusLife, it was a hot market, and a lot of our interns got placed really early. They left really quickly. They didn't complete the program. Now it's very different. It's a very different situation, and it's very difficult to get jobs at all. And so, we've got a very good strike rate in getting people very good jobs after they've done our internship process. And so Annie, who you saw before, so she didn't have any experience. She's very smart, capable young woman, and she just, hasn't done it before. And she was very proactive in wanting to get a job here as well. Volunteered a lot, still volunteering, doing her CampusLife work, but also doing other paid work. And so Pearly actually chose her for her team. Pearly's runs a team herself. So if you want to impress Pearly, that's probably a good way to get into the company, more than me. And then we have Cassie, who actually works with me directly. She does a bit of PA work as well as doing marketing work. And she was working with Roz as well. So she was doing a whole bunch of different things for us. And again, showed a lot of promise and motivation. And that's why we hired her. Okay, so who are you going to work with? So there's a couple of different ways this works. One is Social Star. Now, so Social Star is my agency. I started off as a consultant when I left my corporate job. And if you want to see my history, you can just go into my LinkedIn profile. But I worked in big IT for 15 years, traveling all around the world. But then wanted to start my own business. And our clients predominantly are service-based businesses. So we say to our clients that we market experts. So we're experts in marketing, we market experts. So they're good at what they do is the essential part. So if you're in the finance game, you could be a mortgage broker, you could be a financial advisor, you could be an accountant, you could, we've got bunches of them. You could be a doctor, like a surgeon generally, a specialist, cardiologist, we've got bariatric surgeons, we've worked with pain specialists, expert physiotherapists, generally the people at the top end of their career, the 1%ers, an architect, engineer, we've got logistics experts, even someone who's an expert curtains, It doesn't matter what your expertise is. As long as you are a genuine expert, we can help capture your content, put you online and get you more clients. And that's basically what we do. So the cool thing about, and the reason I chose that, because it's a choice, is because I like working with experts because they're smart and capable and I learn a lot of stuff. So, I generally go through the process with my clients. The cardiologist, I did the whole art testing process. I've got a new dentist client. I'm going to go through it with him. Bookkeepers, I go through, so it's really interesting for me, and that's why I like it. And because I have my own business, I have the choice of working with who I want. And a lot of these clients become my friends as well. So I'm catching up with my dentist for dinner tonight, as just as a case in point. So there are clients, and they're generally running small businesses, small to medium. They could be a couple of people up to 50, 60 people. We don't tend to do bigger businesses because they tend to have their own marketing departments. So they tend to, if they might have one or two people in marketing, but generally not someone with my experience, and they need help. So we provide arms and legs and expertise. And so if you work with those clients, you could be doing anything from going out doing a photo shoot. You could be creating social media content. You could be assisting making marketing plans. It could be whatever, doing podcasts. We help people write books even. So you won't be doing a lot of those things yourself. You'll be working with our team to assist on those projects. But you get a lot of ownership. You'll get, some of our people produce their own videos by themselves. They might create their own social media posts. So if they're good and they're capable, then that's great stuff for your portfolio. So EDMs is another thing we do as well. EDMs and blogs, lots of content. So that's the social star clients. So you may be placed with them, and the way it works is once you're in, we've accepted you into the program, then we look at your capabilities, and then we look at our clients' desires and what they need, and we try and match you. So a good example is Vivian. So Vivian applied through the program, and I placed her in the first couple of weeks because her video, because she already had she did a video application. She said that she enjoys sewing, and she created this video about sewing. And I literally just picked up a sewing client, someone who teaches courses on sewing. I'm like, what's the chances? And so this lady's a sewing expert. She sells courses on sewing and overlocking. I'm like, what a fit. So I said, Vivian, would you like to work with this client? And they're still working together now. And this person actually pays for Vivian to do work for her now. So, if I see a fit and a match, you'll get placed. Not everyone does get a fit like that. And sometimes it's just we need some work done and you get to work there. But we love to know your preferences and, the areas you're interested in, and we'll try and place you in those areas. And we've had a range of clients. I've had racing car companies. I've had, restaurants. We've had, just bunches of different styles of clients apart from the normal professional services. So, and I did have one of my very, very first intern groups in CampusLife. She was interested in motor racing. She used to run the social media for the Monash Racing Club. Anyway, she finished up, but then we picked up someone who builds racing cars for racing around the world. And so she just missed out on that by sort of 6 months, but she could have done that work. So the second one is Bob participants. Now this is a bit different. So Bob stands for Build Your Own Business. And this is where I help corporate escapees to start a business. And so being a corporate escapee myself, having a master's of entrepreneurship, having raised capital twice for myself and several times for other people, I just love entrepreneurship. I love helping people start businesses. They're the same target market. So they're generally industry professionals. So they're experts at what they do. They just want to do it for themselves. Now, one half of that cohort are people who say, okay, I'm a speech pathologist and I want to be a speech pathologist for myself rather than working for someone. So same. I'm a mortgage broker and I want to do it for myself. So I've helped heaps of people do that. That's a relatively easy transition. I also help people who go, I'm an IT service management professional and I want to start a wine bar or become, make my own whiskey brand or import tequila from Mexico or, do something completely different. And I've done that many times as well. They're all real examples, by the way. So I help people to start their own business because the challenge is when you are working for a corporation, as I did, you've got a marketing department, a sales department, a finance department, strategy, support, reception, cleaners, website designers, you got everything. When you do it for yourself, there's just you. And you have to make decisions about things that you don't have experience or capability in. And it's difficult. So we give them a guided program to start their business over 6 months. And the cool thing is that if you get accepted into our program, you'll actually go through this. It's a $9,000 program. You get it for free as part of your training. So, and take advantage of that if you do get in, because it's a very valuable resource to help you to build your own business, which is your profile. Yeah, you are your business. So we get you to treat it as yourself, as a marketing consultant. Even though you may want to get a job, you're still a consultant to that company as an independent person. So it doesn't matter if you're employed full-time, part-time, contractor, or freelance, you're still selling your services to an organization. And you need to do that over and over again because, the average job tenure is only about 2 to 3 years now. So think about how many years you've got to work. If you're going to work 30 years, that's 10 different jobs. And so every time you finish one and start another one, you've got to market yourself, right? So we teach you the skills to do that. And we place with those people. So CampusLife is a separate organization. As I said, it's a social enterprise. Social Star is my for-profit company, and Bob is a coaching program I run. So all those three things combine very nicely into this ecosystem. So CampusLife is the training program for our students. Our students get placed with Social Star and Bob to help our clients. And then eventually, if they, are capable and we need more people, we hire them into one of these three brands because they all have staff and they'll have managers. So for Bob, we have someone like Pearly called Benmina. She runs that program. Social Star, we have 2 account managers who have their own teams. So there's opportunities in all of those depending on which one floats your boat. Yeah, Pearly's particularly, values education. She loves teaching. She loves supporting students like me. So she is stepped into CampusLife, but we have other people for other ones. Okay, so that's how it all fits together. Now, let's look at your next 6 months if you get in. So the first thing is we need to get you onboarded. So that we give you access to our systems. Obviously, we have to choose you and for you to choose us. Then we have weekly trainings and retros. So you're expected to show up. Remember that resourcefulness part? You got to show up to the training. We take attendance on all of these things, and it's part of your requirements to get placed. So if you don't show up, we're not going to place you because it just shows that you're not reliable. And if you're not reliable for us, you're not going to be reliable for our clients. So it's a test. And so there's a weekly session with Pearly and there's a weekly session with me going through the Bob program. We expect you to attend up to both. Have your cameras on, be ready to talk, be ready to participate, look professional because it's practice. Okay. So at university, you can be in your, in your bedroom, sitting in your pajamas, doesn't really matter because you're paying the university. This is business. Okay. So as I show up in a shirt and I try and look professional, have a background, I'm ready to go. Same with Pearly. This is professional workplace and we'll teach you how to do that. And if you can't, it's very important that you go through that process because people will see you in the program and they'll want to work with you if you look great and you participate and you, they seem like a fit because we don't want you to be a uni student. We want you to be a professional marketing person and you need to look and feel and sound like that in order to get placed with one of our clients. You're representing our business. Then we've got, and the retros. The retros are, they're not separate, are they, Pearly? That's part of that weekly meeting, right? Yeah, cool. So as I said, weekly meeting, trainings and retros, plus the Bob weekly modules. Then for the first 3 months, what we're doing is you're doing the program. So it's a 12-step program. You'll go through the 12 steps and you'll build your personal brand. During that process, that's when we're expecting you to do your LinkedIn, do your content and all those sorts of things, build your portfolio so that we can match you with the right people, right? And those people will then mentor you and you'll do the work to put on your portfolio at the end of the program. So, and then at the end, you obviously, if you pass, you get a certification and we'll assist you in either getting a job or doing more freelance work or both with us. So we currently are in that process. We had last week we had the final session with our last intake, and now we're in the process of helping them get jobs and also placing them with the people they were working with. What's the stats on that, Pearl? I think we had 12 people who are going to freelance with us. Is that right?
Yes, so we have 12 freelancing, and then the rest choose to go to employment club where we can help them to get like a permanent jobs, like CV review, bios, and etc.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So, yeah, so you just choose what your next steps are and we'll help you through that process. Okay, so in terms of matching, so the businesses complete a form outlining what they need. Now, we have quite a strict protocol on what we get you to do and not do. We don't want to stretch you to do things that you're not capable of, because then that just creates a bad experience for the business and for us. So we want to limit your exposure to things we can train you in, such as social media, CRM. We use a product called Go High Level. We've got a license agreement for that. Doing EDMs, writing content. You can do other things if you have the skills and you can demonstrate to us that you can do it well. So we've had people do, make professional videos. We've had people who help on website with design. If you've got a design background, fantastic. However, we will check everything. Everything has to go through us before it goes to a client. It's exactly how it works in every single agency you work at. It's the same. When you're new, you've got to prove yourself, and you've got to earn the rights to work with clients directly and without support. And some people are quicker than others. So Sabari, who did I was teaching a master's program, and I hired him, and within like 2 weeks he's managing clients because he was just so good. Because in India he was an account manager for 6 years, but he just could not get a job in Australia. Started to work for me, and he just thrived. Like, he was just so ready to go. He's obviously still here. So that's how we match you through there, and then we'll be as I said, assessing you through the process. How much are you engaging, are you showing up, those sorts of things. And so all of that attendance, reliability, showing proactivity, that's all resourcefulness sort of thing, how you communicate, the quality of work when you first start, etc., all of those things. Particularly this ability to take feedback. We actually had one person who, we've only had one ever sort of complaint, if you like, from one student, and she just wouldn't take feedback. We were trying to give her constructive criticism, from the client and how to improve, and was not able to receive that in a professional way. We all need to be able to take feedback. You're not always right. The client is right. You can argue your point, but at the end of the day, they're paying for it. So, and they know their industry better than you do. So that person left the program early, and will likely struggle to get employment, because if everyone else is to blame, right, then they're not growing as a person. And so we see that, and I've seen that a lot in people I've hired or in people who I coach, is that if you keep saying every time, oh, it's their problem, it's like, hang on, so this happened 5 times, what's the consistent thing throughout the whole process? Oh, you. Yeah. And so getting people to accept responsibility and be humble is a really important trait. And I've worked with very high level business people, in fact billionaires, right, and been fortunate just to have people attracted to my network, and the more successful, the more rich they are, the more humble they are. It's really quite fascinating how the most successful are generally the ones who try and take as much feedback and criticism, how could I do better, and that's why they're successful. And so we love it when we hear people go, what could I do better? Even if it was good, what could I do better? We love that. You're not by yourself, which is good. So we give you a buddy. Everyone gets a buddy, and they work with that buddy on their accounts. So let's say that Eddie's got an account, and we give him, say, my dentist account, and he goes and works there. He'll get a buddy. So Nathan might work with Eddie on that account, and then Nathan might have an account, one of our surgeons, and Eddie will help Nathan with that surgeon. So we have this buddy program. It's not always like that. You might have buddies with different people. It just depends on which clients we have during that process. But the good thing about a buddy is it's just a nice person. You get to talk, and not really sure about this, or this is annoying me, or I'm frustrated, can you help me? And they can help you with your mindset and get back into resourcefulness, get back into responsibility, get back into results. And then we'll facilitate the whole process. So once we have a client, and this could be a new client we pick up, it could be a client that wants to do a new project, we don't know, or part of the coaching program, we will then facilitate a matching. We'll send them 3 of you all the time to choose from, and they'll choose based on our recommendation and your videos you submit. So take a little bit of care. They'll look at your LinkedIn profiles. They may want to interview you, and then they'll choose one, and then we place you with them. We'll do a facilitated onboarding session, and we're supporting you every step of the way, right? You're not by yourself. We'll review everything. Pearly's there to help, and Annie can help as well. So we'll support you through that process, because this is, a learning journey for all of us. Oh, and here's how you get supported. Pearly's already thinking ahead. Obviously, you get access to the Bob course, the weekly trainings, regular work reviews. As I said, the process would be Eddie would send his stuff to Nathan. Nathan would review it first, then they would send it to us, we'd review it, and then we send it to the client. So we've got to have that review and to get better. By the time it gets to the client, it should be perfect, right? Or as close to perfect as we can get. Nothing's ever really perfect. We also have a WhatsApp group where you can chat and connect and get feedback on things as well, come up with new ideas. So we find all of those things are quite useful. So for your time, which is what you're providing, we're providing you real experience with real marketing projects with real entrepreneurs, right? Some of these people are pretty inspiring. We've got a guy who wants to help 1 billion people with their pain, because pain's one of the biggest epidemics in the world now. And it's Pearly's account, Dr. Dan, and we've been working with him for about 5 years, and he's actually getting there. It's actually amazing the reach that he's done with his podcast and with his content. It's going all over the world now, which is pretty cool. So you get to work with pretty inspiring people. You develop a portfolio. I mean, Pearly's got an amazing portfolio of stuff she's done. She's ran whole campaigns, built websites, done blogs and videos and photo shoots and, tons of stuff. A chance to network and grow with your peers. So we hope you form a bit of a club, and that whoever's on this next intake, it's only about sort of 15-ish, maybe 20 students. It's fairly small. You can get to know everyone. And they can become, like at university, your friends. And I found a lot of people going through university, because university is so big, it's hard to actually connect and make quality friends, but this is nice and niche. And obviously a chance to get hired by us or others. And so obviously we do it based on your performance. So, try your best. So afterwards you get a certificate to put on your LinkedIn profile and your resume. We have this post-program pathway, as we talked about. You become a part of the alumni program, and this is just finished the first intake, but we're asking people to come back and volunteer. So they'll volunteer to help the next intake. And this, I found this very valuable in my career. And in fact, I did a kids camp when I was an accelerated learning camp when I was young, a teenager, which, because I actually wasn't very good in school, believe it or not. And my mum sent me to this camp. It was 10 days, accelerated learning, speed reading, NLP, all advanced stuff. And the friends I met, I've still got friends today, and I was 15. And then the next year I went back and I volunteered, and I was a group mentor, and I had a little group, and I was 16, and that was as good as going through it the first time, because I now had the opportunity to be a leader and get advanced, techniques in how to lead small groups, which was so cool. And I wanted to do that again and again, but actually the program stopped, unfortunately. So, coming back and volunteering could be a really great way to give back. I mentor a lot of people at university. I've done tons of mentoring. I find it as valuable as being mentored. So, I think you'd find the same thing if you went through the process. And then obviously we want to grow a pool of people for the future. So, as I said with my motorsport person, she left and she got a job at a big company. And then when this motorsport opportunity came out, I said, hey, you want to do some freelance, on the side. She didn't have time at that particular time, but I knew what she wanted, and I offered her that opportunity. She'd been out of our business for like 6 months. So we're going to remember you, keep you on our database, and then if future opportunities come up, or you need future opportunities, you can come back to us. So it's an ongoing resource that hopefully will be in the future. So if this sounds all good and dandy, please get your phone, scan this QR code, or just go to the URL and put in your application. Now, it's a pretty quick turnaround for the application, so we've got about a week. Because we're starting the program start of February, 5th of Feb. We need you on board before then. That's our Bob program, training program. So it's not a very difficult application, but you just do need to go through that process. And part of the qualification is, are you going to do anything about it? Because, for some people, they come to this webinar and they're like, oh, 6 months non-paid, I've got to put in 7 hours a week. That's not for them. And I go, that's cool. But if you're motivated and you think that it'd be highly valuable, then come along and join the program. I will say that there are other programs out there. We did a pretty extensive search of competitors before we started the business, and many of them, not just one, but many of them ask you to pay. So there were several of them that I know because I know the owners, and I actually talked to a lot of the students, and they paid $5,000 to go through a similar program where they work full time for free. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty harsh. We had an accountant here who just did a stint with us, tested someone else's program. So she used to work 3 days a week for us for free, and she paid $5,000 for the privilege of doing that. So we do it for free. So we don't pay you, but we use the money that we collect a small amount from our clients, and that goes into funding the program. So it's kind of like I said, a social enterprise break even. Because we believe, you've paid enough for your degrees, you shouldn't have to pay anything else. And then afterwards, we actually get the clients to pay you. So we're now getting people who are getting paid directly from our clients, and earning an income from the program. So that's pretty cool. So that's all I have time for. But if people want to ask a couple of questions, I'm open for that. Or just get your QR codes ready and start applying. And we'd love to see you in a couple of weeks when we do the onboarding. So any questions before I finish up? Anyone you can type in the chat, or you can come on the microphone.
I have a question. Is it all done online?
That's a great question. Yes, it is. However, there are physical elements. So that's a great question. So we run events. Last year we ran 4 events in Melbourne and Brisbane. And so we get people to come along to that. You either can help run it, or you can come and just network. It's up to you. So that's one thing. We are going to run more events this year. We are planning to add Sydney. Adelaide was kind of in the schedule. Not sure about that yet. Probably in the second half of the year. We're running events for our clients, so that's why we're doing it. But we get you to come along and help and network. So that's one thing. The other thing is we want to run more social events. We didn't do that last year because it was just the first intake, but that's another thing we're thinking of doing. The third thing is that some clients want to have a physical presence. So one client in Sydney actually, we didn't end up getting the gig, but they wanted someone to be in their office. So they were going to have that person come in 1 day a week and sit with them and do work. Many of our interns have gone out on shoots to collect content with our clients. So there's lots of opportunities for that. But you won't sit in our office. No, we don't. It's not that sort of program where you come into our office and get trained, if you like. That's how we used to run it. We used to run it back in the day in that way, but then everything just turned online. So it's much more efficient. And we could only offer it to Melbourne people back then. So now it's open to everyone in Australia and potentially overseas. And so, but with clients who require a physical presence, obviously, if they're in Brisbane, then we want someone in Brisbane. If they're in Adelaide, we want someone in Adelaide. So their buddy doesn't need to be there, but they need to be there. But some clients don't need that at all. A lot of our clients are fully remote. Our clients are all over Australia, but obviously we're in Melbourne. So we don't see them often. However, I do sometimes fly up and see them. But I mean, we've done shoots last year. I think we did shoots in Portugal, Thailand. Where's that other place in Europe? The Vienna? Can't remember. Can't remember other places. Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney. So we do work all over, but it just depends on what opportunities come up for us. So, yeah, good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Cool.
Hello.
Nathan, go ahead.
So essentially, I have like 2 questions. So the first question, when I scan this QR code, there's like many questions on it. So the first question is probably like for the introduction video, what do I have to put in the video?
Did it have any instructions on the website, Pearly? Sure it does.
Yes, we do. I can put a link into the chat so you guys can have a look at the instruction.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've got examples from the videos as well in there. Do we have examples? I'm pretty sure we do. Yeah.
Nah, we don't have the example, but we have really clear instruction on what to include.
Yeah, cool.
You can, it's good range from 2 to 5 minutes, and you can just talk about your background information. If you have any work experience, you can talk about it, your interests, and what you're hoping to gain from this internship.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you then.
You had more questions, Nathan? Go ahead.
And for the portfolio, does it has to be about marketing? Because I don't have a marketing portfolio. I have like a design portfolio. Besides that, I'm not sure.
That's fine. You don't have to have a portfolio now. If you do have one, great, send it through. But yeah, we get a lot of people from design. We get a lot of people who do video, photography, and design. And so that's a part of marketing. So that's very useful, and it will help us with our, who we place you with, depending on what they need. So for sure, send that through,
Oh,
and we'll help you
thank
build that out as well. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yep. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Sure. Good questions. Anyone else?
It's written, I just opened the link and it was written that you must be a student, you must be in current university enrolled.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
We used to have that as our premise, but we've actually expanded it to be recent graduates. But like we say, we don't take first year students, but we did. So it's more of a general guideline than a rule. We're looking for great people who are willing to, who can do the work. What we found is that first year students generally don't know enough to be able to do the work. But Annie proved otherwise. She'd already had a portfolio even though she was in first year. And like I said, with people who've already graduated and you're in the workforce for a while, we found previously that they wouldn't go back to doing unpaid internships. Like we actually had somebody who joined and then she's like, oh, I got a job in the first 4 weeks, and she left. I'm like, well, you need to commit to 6 months. Even if you're working, even if you get a job, if you're going to start, you need to finish the program, because we're investing in you and we want to place you with our clients and get that experience. So it's not a dip in and dip out kind of thing. It's a commitment. And we want people to take those commitments seriously. So so there's rules, but there's exceptions to the rules if you still fit the other criteria of the values we hold. So
okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Cool. All right. Well, good luck making your videos. They don't have to be, you're not Steven Spielberg. You don't have to be a movie quality. What we're looking for is, authenticity. Tell us who you are, what you like to do, why we should hire you. Have a think about it. Resourcefulness. Google, ChatGPT. How do I make a great introduction video? I'm sure you find lots of examples. If you're cheeky and Google CampusLife, application video, you probably find some there, probably on YouTube. So, go out and do some investigation and put forward your best foot, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side of the program. So good luck all. I've got to go off and teach a Bob webinar now. So we'll hang up and we'll see you on the other side. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, guys.
See you all.
See ya.
Thank you.